Bitter criticism night, a new scenario because, believe it or not, we have a lot of real estate problems in Chile. So our regular studio is kind of occupied by homeless, a homeless guy complaining about dogs. Let me tell you, this guy. Maybe I did wrong. I should go there. You know, this my film. Mursi loves here, and there's complaints here too. So this is maybe this progress. A lot of problems, social conflicts. This place right here is full of rabbits and cats. These dogs, Mursi loves to chase them. Old ladies don't understand. Mursi has no chance chasing nobody because she's kind of lame. She is kind of lame. So Mursi has to be. I don't remember how to say it. Flirt, flirt. Mursi, you're in the front of the tripod. Uh, Flatter, yeah. Mursi should be flatter. Because people think she's what an attempt against cats. She's Mercy. Are you? I don't remember the word. She is a threat. Yeah, Mercy. All ladies think you are a threat for cats. And let me tell you, Mercy never will catch a cat. Mercy have no chance. Which is a very serious business for her. And well, you have to, that fact that Mursi cannot survive in the wilderness show you that dogs are absolutely domesticated. They cannot chase, you know. These dogs like Mursi, Milu, maybe Balu. I will show you this. I have another dog here. For me, it's a regular dog. Now he has fleece too. Balu, hey Balu. I I bet on Balu. You know, look, Balu definitely can kill race. You know, but Balu is not like that. But you cannot Balu. Look at this boy. You don't know this, but this boy is like this wolf man. You know this. Yeah, this boy transform himself. You have to study this boy. Look, he don't like here, but there's some he is not comfort for him. He, but there's some. Normally, he will not like to get to be touched like I'm doing right now. The question is, things change in the wild. You know, right now we are in the wild with Mursi, which is a female. So those things change the psychology of beast, danger beast like this. So if you want a dangerous beast, don't introduce a boy like this females. Let him alone forever. It will be terrible. But it's not the case. People want him to be a pet, actually a peaceful pet, but it's not. It's a killer anyway. The question is, I never know what will happen if somebody does something to me with a dog like Balu, if Balu likes me, you know. There's a lot of questions about dogs. I really don't know. I don't know what will happen if something happened to me. There's videos, you know. There's videos. There's videos of people simulating an attack, and guess what? The dogs doesn't care. Dogs doesn't care. So in order to have um, in order to have an effective defense from dogs, you should have a balance. You should have a balance pack. And in my pack, Mursi is definitely the poison. Mursi is the Mursi is the troublemaker, you know. Mursi smells danger. Mursi is the how to say it, the unbalanced one. She's she's a female, you know, so she sometimes she decides to bark. She decides to bark to people. Most of them men. Mursi hates men. Men, men in general. And what's next? What follows is Milou is, and then Milou starts barking too, and then Tommy. So that you have a terrible scenario. You have a proper pack defense. So nobody messing around with me with. That's my secret. Mursi is the kid, you know. All along with the stupid boys, Tommy and Milou, maybe there will be a threat to cats, poor cats, and but nothing else, you know. People, that's the truth about my life. I vulnerable without Mursi, you know. Mursi is my pro, is my guarantee. But anyway, I'm going to read something I couldn't read before from Al Jazeera. This for me, this is a pattern. I always do the same. I always say the same phrases because I'm always doing the same thing. Like reading is still here. I guess. Trump is a madman. Palestinian in Gaza mocks U.S. president's takeover plan. I guess that's it. What I would like to read before. Trump is a madman. Palestinian in Gaza mocks U.S. president's takeover plan. Palestinians have widely rejected President Trump's plan. And one 72-year-old says leaving Gaza will be like that. That interested me because, as I always say, if I will live in the Middle East, you know, in the Middle East, very desert, this arid land, this dry arid land. Think with me, would you like to live in a desert? Nobody, nobody living in a desert, you know, without not growing food, you know. I honestly, I don't understand how people can survive in a desert. And well, other than that, it's terrible. And anything is terrible, like getting water. Even getting water, I will tell this. Esval company in Valparaiso is terrible too. You right now I have no fresh water. I have no fresh water. I'm just like in the desert, but there's a lot of water in the city. You know, you can find water. Not in the desert, you know. Not. Honestly, I don't know how these people survive. But I'm going to read now. No. It says, Mohammed Soleimani, February 5th, updated 9 hours ago, or 5. I'm blind because of the flashlight, you know. I guess it's 9. I'm very blind now. Khan Yunis, Gaza Strip, Palestine. Leaning on a wooden cane, 72-year-old Fatih Abu al-Saed navigates the rubble-strewn streets of Khan Yunis al-Katiba neighborhood, a daily ritual since he returned from displacement in the coastal region of Al-Mawasi following the January 19 Gaza ceasefire. Carefully stepping over the breeze left by 15 months of relentless Israeli bombardment, he raises his cane, pointing at the demolished house. Quote, "You see that pile of useless rubble," he says. Quote, "That's more precious than the United States and everything in it." End quote. I don't care about the United States neither, you know, but yeah, but it's interesting why a 72-year-old is so passionate about a dry desert land, which is Khan Yunis, whatever, the West Bank, Palestine. His audience, a group of children, including some of his 50 children and grandchildren. There's a lot of kids there. There's a lot of fertility rates are high. Fertility rates in Palestine are high. 50, 50, I'll read again the number. I have facing some technical problems with the camera and the dog. What's that? I will read again the number because I have 0 kids, you know, 0 kids, and well, 3 dogs. His audience, a group of children, including some of his 50 children and grandchildren. 50 listens intently, undeterred by forecasts of heavy rain and storm winds. Others join them, children from displaced families who have also returned, not to intact homes, but to the ruins of what once was. With nowhere else to go, they rebuild their lives among the wreckage. I always say that these people, the Palestinian people, they should go to Colombia. But thinking responsibly, thinking seriously, Colombia is a vassal of the United States. Colombian economy are 100% dependent on the United States of America. So terrible place, Colombia. Terrible place. There's no way to survive in Colombia. Forget about it. Every morning, Abu al-Saed exchanges words of resilience with neighbors, but on this day, U.S. President Donald Trump's recent remarks about Gaza, his fantasy of clearing out its Palestinian population to build a quote unquote Riviera in the Middle East, offer new material for his sarcasm and defiance. Quote, Trump talks as if he's a king handing out land, end quote. Abu al-Said scoffs. Quote, maybe he should relocate his Israeli friends somewhere outside of Palestine and leave Gaza alone, end quote. Yeah, no, not sarcasm there, just straightforward message. Trump's comments, which led to widespread condemnation, outlined a plan to resettle Palestinians in Gaza elsewhere, while the US would, quote unquote, take over and, quote unquote, own the territory, standing beside Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, who faces an International Criminal Court (ICC) arrest warrant for war crimes in Gaza. Trump claimed Palestinians deserve better than they're supposed. Quote unquote, bad luck. On Wednesday, U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio attempted to wall back Trump's suggestion that Palestinians would be resettled, quote unquote, permanently, saying they will need to live somewhere else in the, quote unquote, interim as the enclave is rebuilt. There's videos and there's a subtitle saying, a prize-winning delusion. Throughout 15 months of Israeli bombing, more than 60% of Gaza's infrastructure has been destroyed, including hospitals, universities, and schools. Washington, under the previous U.S. administration, was Israel's biggest backer, sending $17.9 billion in military aid during the first year of the war, the highest annual total ever. Quote, this is the talk of a madman, end quote. Abu al-Saed says, quote, and as we Arabs say, quote, if the speaker is a madman, let the listener be sane. This man knows nothing about homeland, struggle, defiance, pride, or Palestine, end quote. Dismissing Trump's comments as absurd, Abu al-Saed shakes his head. Quote, that's the best fantasy ever dreamed up by a world leader, end quote. He says, shifting between disbelief and laughter. Quote, any sane person who knows Palestinians understands that leaving our homeland is like death itself. Did Trump really think we had pack up and go after all this, end quote. For Abu al-Saed, the idea of mass displacement is personal. His father was forced out of Jaffa, now part of Israel, by Zionist militants in 1948 when Israel was formed, and his mother's family was expelled from the nearby village of Sarafan. He grew up on stories of that first catastrophe, the Nakba, and now lives through another. Yeah, definitely. This genocide. How can you what's the name of this 2023 October 7? I call it genocide dossier, but I call it genocide, yeah. But Nakba, maybe it was worse, who knows. And now lives through another, yeah. This is definitely another. The question is, maybe there's no better place in the world than Palestine. Some time ago, I was dreaming about living in Finland, Norway, Sweden. That was my dream, but considering the harsh climate and the bad economic conditions, I definitely want to do a try. I am 30 years old. I have no family, no kids, nothing. I'm not gay, just poor. I'm very surprised how you can have 50 kids. So at that point, when you have one kid, you definitely should stay and fight. But not me, you know. I know Brazil is not so great. You should not. Maybe you can fight for Brazil. I guess Brazil is better than Chile. definitely. So in so many ways. Even violence, no? You have more violence there. What's the problem with violence? No problem. Look at me right here on the street. I'm on the street and on a neighbor, but I'm in the wilderness. In kind of slum. A lot of course, I have a violent dog here, but in Brazil, any dog will be no guarantee for you, and that's fine. Um, I'll try to read to the end. No, it's just too much. No, I'm going to speed up now. Yeah, I'm going to run. But my throat is dry. I have a pain in my throat. Dismissing Trump's comments as absurd, Abu al-Saeb shakes his head. Quote, "That's the best fantasy ever dreamed up by a world leader," end quote, he says, shifting between disbelief and laughter. Quote, "Any sane person who knows Palestinians understands that leaving our homeland is like death itself. Did Trump really think we had to pack up and go after all this?" I have to say another comment. This Palestinian descendant here in Chile, Daniel Jadwe. To me, he looks like a perfect Chilean. I'm not listening to him anymore because he's just like a Chilean. Maybe Palestine is better than Chile, because at this point, Daniel Jadwe is nothing. Anyway, for Abu al-Saed, the idea of mass displacement is personal. His father was forced out of Jaffa, now part of Israel, by Zionists. Yeah, you just read that. Quote, "We already know what it means to lose everything," end quote, he says, gesturing at the ruins. Quote, "But we also know what it means to hold on," end quote. The war displaced 90% of Gaza's 2.3 million people. Many have returned not to standing homes, but to wreckage, cleaning debris, salvaging what they can, salvaging what they can, or setting up tents atop the ruins. Quote, "Even under genocide, we didn't leave," end quote. Abu al-Saed says, his voice steady. Quote, "It's not about having nowhere else to go. It's our homeland, our land. Every brick here is worth more to us than everything the U.S. can offer," end quote. For a week, Trump has pressured Egypt and Jordan to absorb Gaza's population, pitching his redevelopment plan as a job creation project. But even his allies in Cairo, Riyadh, Abu Dhabi, and beyond have rejected the idea outright. Quote, "Trump must think we are living in a hotel he can shut down," end quote. Abu al-Saed laughs. Quote, "But Gaza isn't a real estate project. Is our land. Isn't a real estate project." He taps his cane against the rubble. Quote, This earth is mixed with our sweat and blood. No one here will leave, no matter the threats or promises," end quote. And there's a photograph from the children. They're kind of 6, not 50. Subtitle: "Is he crazy or just stupid?" Sitting on a pile of debris, surrounded by eager children, Abu al-Saed turns to his 10-year-old grandson, Muhammad, grinning. Quote, "Trump says we should leave Gaza and move to Egypt or Jordan. What do you think?" End quote. The boy bursts into laughter. Quote, Is he crazy or just stupid? Why should we leave? Gaza is part of Palestine. End quote. The other children chime in, their voices rising. Their voices rising. Quote, who leaves their home? We will stay, rebuild, and fight for it. End quote. You know, I feel more Brazilian than Chilean. For me, it will be a sin to have, and for many Chileans, there's very common right here in Chile when a Chilean man have a kid, they just disappear, just like in Brazil too. They disappear. They don't care about kids. That's the global South, people. That's capitalism in South America. Men have no way to survive or have a family. That's the real story. There's nothing to do with deliberation. It's not the will, the opinion. It's not a matter of opinion or deliberation. Men just cannot have a family. That's it. So that's capitalism. Abu al-Saeb chuckles, quote, there's your answer, Trump. Even our children know better than you, end quote. Throughout the war, Israel's bombings, starvation tactics, and attacks on hospitals have killed more than 17,400 children, orphaning thousands more. Quote, what kind of logic is this? End quote. Abu al-Saed asks, quote, they starve us, bomb us, and then act surprised when we refuse to leave, end quote. Citing the unbreakable bond Palestinians feel with their land, he adds, quote, you know what will never happen again? Us leaving, end quote. Trump, he believes, does not understand Palestinians or their struggle, end quote. Now, quote, Israel was built on the lie of, quote, a land without a people, end quote, he says. Quote, but we are here and we are staying, end quote. His eyes narrow, quote, for Trump, like for Netanyahu, the only solution is for Palestinians to disappear, end quote. Straightening his back despite his age, Abu al-Saed says, but we will not, end quote. This piece was published in collaboration with EGAB, published on Al Jazeera English. Source Al Jazeera. Life is terrible, Balu. Life is a struggle. Life is a struggle, and I don't know what to say. These Jewish people, they suffer a lot in ancient times. They have been vague. I was reading the story of this philosopher Baruch Spinoza. Balu. Stupid Balu. Pulling the rope. That's normal. Well, nobody knows the answer. Of course, as poor people from global South, I should support Palestinians, of course. I should study more. What happened to? Who knows? If maybe the prosecution, who knows? Maybe the Spanish kingdom in the Middle Ages prosecuting the Jewish people. Maybe Spanish were right. Maybe Jewish people are wrong because it's just too much capitalism.